Welcome back. When you get in a car wreck, you expect first responders to be able to come to your rescue quickly. But what if they can't get to you? To give you life-saving medical attention without a 30-minute detour. Well, that's what happened in July of 2021 in Juliette because a railroad crossing was blocked by a stopped train.
Now, it's the same crossing that caught the eye of Senator John Ossoff in an inquiry to the Federal Railroad Administration. Ashlyn Webb takes a closer look at the trek that's gone from a headache to a public safety problem for folks in Juliette. And tonight's 13 investigates.
286 Monroe County.
10:30 on the morning of July 30th, 2021. Monroe County deputies respond to an accident on Juliette Road. According to dispatch records, a 73-year-old woman was unconscious after another driver who was under the influence of meth hit her car near the railroad tracks.
So she wasn't moving at the time.
But first responders couldn't get to the scene. A Norfolk Southern train blocked the crossing.
We couldn't get over there. We constantly called Norfolk Southern, asked them to move the train. They gave excuses why they couldn't move the train.
Sheriff Brad Freeman says deputies would have to take a 35-minute detour.
Well, that's a long time. Evidence can be destroyed. Suspects can disappear. And as far on the EMS side, you're looking at, they call it the golden hour, I believe, when you can possibly get a trauma patient to the hospital and possibly save their life. Well, it's taking you 35 minutes to get to the scene. It can be bad.
While deputies tried to cross the tracks, their office asked neighboring Jones County to respond. But it would take them 30 minutes to get there, too. So first responders slid the 73-year-old woman under a train car on a gurney so she could get medical help.
It's scary and disturbing.
Freeman says more life-threatening emergencies like this could happen again. Some Juliette residents, like Andrea Goolsby, say that's their biggest fear.
The fact that I have a child, he and myself both spend so much time on the river. If something were to happen across those tracks, who's going to get to us to help us? It's a safety issue. There are people that live on the other side of the tracks that are medically fragile, some terminally ill, and having to go 20 miles out of their way could be life or death.
The Federal Railroad Administration says since June 2020, they've received at least 92 reports of the Juliette Road being blocked. But people in Juliette say they don't report most of those cases to the feds. They say the crossing gets blocked weekly, sometimes daily, for up to 6 hours. Our crew was there when it was blocked on Labor Day.
Move the train!
Just fix it. But it's not illegal for a train to block a crossing, even for hours. The Federal Railroad Administration says there's no federal laws against it, and there's no Georgia law. States like Illinois, Iowa, and Washington State all have laws banning trains from blocking crossings for more than 10 minutes. And other states like Alabama are considering legislation. Freeman says with safety concerns mounting, they've reached out to Norfolk Southern asking them to fix the problem.
Basically, they were less than polite, but basically informed me that there was nothing I could do and basically nothing they would do about it.
Do you feel like you're being railroaded? Do you feel like the city of Juliette is being railroaded in this?
I feel like that the railroad just has an I don't care attitude. It's like, obviously the railroad is a corporation. You can't vote for them. You can't boot them out of office, and they're going to do what they want to do and basically dare you to do anything to them.
Norfolk Southern responded and said they could not move the train on July 30th, 2021 because a train broke down and had to be repaired. But that's not always the case when this crossing is blocked. The railroad says that a train has to stop at a siding here when crews have to take mandated rest times. But they say they're stopping even more nowadays due to staffing problems within the last year. They say they're working to hire more. For 13 Investigates, I'm Ashlyn Webb.
The Federal Railroad Administration says as part of the new infrastructure law passed in November, Congress included the Railroad Crossing Elimination Program. It will fund projects like creating overpasses and underpasses, as well as track relocations.
You can read more about what Ashlyn found in her investigation into the Juliette Road crossing and a full statement from Norfolk Southern in this story on 13WMAZ.com.